For this video, I'm going to take you on a tour of the Orlando International Premium Outlets, located in Orlando, Florida. Making today's video was kind of surreal for me, because I grew up with this mall, but it didn't look anything like this when I was a kid. That's because this mall has completely changed and evolved in just so many different ways. The ownership of this mall has changed multiple times, and right now it's currently a Simon Mall, but it had previously been known as the Orlando Prime Outlets, and even before that, it originated as the Belz Factory Outlet Mall. And for me, I never really experienced it as Prime. I kind of skipped over to what it is now, but I also remember it in its original form when it was the Belz Mall when I was a kid in the late 1980s. What's crazy to me is that this was an indoor mall, and now it's like one of those outdoor shopping districts. And the structures themselves are the exact same layout. They just removed the roof from a lot of the main concourse. So it's kind of surreal because I can feel the layout of like Mall 1 and Mall 2 of the Belz Factory malls, but it's been so cosmetically altered that the layout's familiar, but the look just seems foreign to me. There really aren't a lot of videos or photos of the old Belz Mall. The only thing I could find was graciously provided by Danielle, and here's some brief video of what the Belz Mall used to look like. If you want to retrace where Mall 1 used to be of Belz, that fountain that's in the center of the west side of the premium outlets, that's where the center of the original Belz Mall 1 was located. And if you want to try to track the remnants of Mall 2, that is where the current food court is located. The food court actually retains most of the look of the original Mall 2. So there used to be two Belz malls that were built side by side, and it was really kind of a neat setup. I always find it funny that these outdoor shopping districts are more popular than enclosed malls because this is Florida. The heat index was 108 with the humidity factored in. Of all the places that an enclosed mall with air conditioning should thrive, it should be Florida, because shopping out here is a fast track to skin cancer and heat stroke. So it's just, the weather sucks, and I can say the weather sucks because I was born and raised in Florida, and the weather sucks. And when it's kind of cooler and rainy, then the mosquitoes are chewing you up out here. So the weather just sucks year round. So I miss the indoor Belz Mall, to be honest. With that hell of an intro out of the way, let's talk about the Orlando Premium Outlets. Now, if you are here to shop for shoes, this is like Mecca or heaven, because oh my gosh, I mean, they have a Nike outlet next to the Converse outlet, next to the Adidas outlet, next to the Reebok outlet. I mean, I've never seen so many shoe outlet stores in my entire life. There were some shoe brands that I wasn't even aware was still in business that have outlet stores here. So I mean, it's crazy. This is like the ultimate place to buy athletic shoes. So if you're really into kicks, then this is the place to be. They also have just about every single high-end clothing retailer that I'm aware of, whether you're talking about Armani or Brooks Brothers or whatever your preference is. If you're looking to buy something fancy and expensive, then you're definitely going to find it here. This mall is usually packed, but like I said, I was here on an incredibly hot day. 108 degrees probably scared most of the crowd away. I've been here when it was like wall-to-wall people. That was the last time I came, and you could barely find a parking spot. And I'd have to say parking is probably still the biggest issue here at the mall, because people were chasing me in the parking lot, and this wasn't even a busy day. Everybody was just trying to scour for a parking spot. Doesn't seem like they have enough parking here. One of the highlights for me is one of the stores that was here 25 years ago and is still here now is called the Character Warehouse. And they basically buy surplus Disney merchandise from the theme parks. And this is officially licensed Disney merchandise. And like I said, they just buy the leftover stuff that doesn't sell at like Walt Disney World or Epcot or Animal Kingdom or, Hollywood Studios. And that merchandise ends up here and sold at a pretty deep discount. So for big Disney fans like myself, it's a great place to buy a t-shirt that I had my eye on maybe like 5 years ago at the parks and is now selling for like 75% less. Back in the day, there was a store called Toy Liquidators here at the Belz Mall. I used to live in that store, and man, I bought so many great things there. I bought my Sega Master System game console there, and I bought a bunch of 80s toys like G.I. Joe, RoboCop, Mask, Transformers, and I believe Toy Liquidators was an outlet owned by KB Toy Works, the stores, and they would just basically dump their slow-selling merchandise, and it suited me just fine because I realized nobody wanted a Sega Master System circa like 1990, 91. So I got a brand new game console for like $29 with like 2 games and 2 game pads, and at the time the NES was selling for $100, so $30 for a brand new game console was amazing, and I really do wish Toy Liquidators was still around. I will give this mall credit. The premium outlets definitely is thriving. I didn't really see any vacancies throughout the mall. I mean, most of the malls down here in Florida usually have like 3 or 4 restaurants that are boarded up and out of business in just about any food court. But this one, every single restaurant was open and doing business. And I know this particular mall is thriving because of the international tourists that come to Orlando. A lot of people will buy goods here because consumer goods are really cheap for Americans. Europeans are usually blown away because they don't have to pay the VAT taxes, and Canadians are blown away because they don't have to really pay for provincial taxes. The sales taxes down here are really low compared to those, and a lot of these goods are just hard to come by when you go down to Central and South America. So this mall thrives on that. People will buy up different products and pack them in their suitcase and take them home. I will give them some credit on the renovations. They did a good job. This is a very scenic and beautiful setting. I mean, it is a nice looking mall now. Belz was not a very attractive mall. It was really cheaply built. They just had some 50-cent tile on the ground, and the place looked like a warehouse when it came to the roofing and interiors. As the premium outlets has evolved, they've added these green areas and watersheds and green wetlands, and it just has a more impressive curb appeal. So for my bottom line, I would definitely recommend the Orlando International Premium Outlets just because it is a great place to shop. Despite what I consider limited parking, they do have a lot of great stores here. I mean, it's the first place I ever saw a cake ATM machine where they actually have cakes that you can pull out that were freshly baked in Hoboken, New Jersey and trucked down here to Florida, which I think is kind of ridiculous, but hey, I digress a little bit. If you're into collectibles and toys, they have some of that, but not a lot. If there's one thing they lack is its electronics stores, but you can always go to the mall at Millennia for those type of things. They have an Apple store and Best Buy and those type of things down there instead. Thanks for joining me on this tour of the Orlando International Premium Outlets. If you enjoyed this episode of The Adventure Schmuck, don't forget to like and subscribe.